Hello everyone and welcome to a review slash video. I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm using my camera that does not have a viewfinder that I can see from this filming side here. So I'm really hoping you guys are in focus, and I apologize in advance if you are not. I am working on things. I'm still trying here, I promise. Trying to get the quality all fine and dandy and good for you guys and for me too. Today for my weekly wear test, I am very excited to finally be testing out this product. My shade has been out of stock for a very long time, basically since it was available for purchase. This right here is the e.l.f. 16-hour Camo Concealer, very famous here online in the YouTube beauty community. It's supposed to be just incredible. And of course, since it's e.l.f., it's cruelty-free, plus it's super inexpensive, which is great. I have the shade Fair Beige, and it looks like it should work for me. It says right on the side here that it is full coverage matte. It is only $5. $5. That's awesome. At least on Ulta's website, there are 18 different shades, but as you can see at the time of me filming this, there's still a bunch of them that are very out of stock. Excuse me, my memory card filled up there, but I did want to talk Ulta, not only because that's where I was able to finally get this concealer, but also right now this video is not sponsored at all, but e.l.f., once known as e.l.f. anyways, they are now, I believe they pronounce it Rakuten? I want to pronounce it as a Japanese word just because it looks like one, Rakuten, but that's not how they say to pronounce it. They say Rakuten, I believe. In any case, it's the same wonderful cashback company that it always has been. I've been recommending it to you guys for what feels like years now. I love them. They are a cashback website, and right now they are celebrating 20 years of being a company, which is incredible. I feel like I've only known about them for like 5 years, but in any case, they're celebrating by putting a ton of different stores in very high cashback modes, Ulta being one of them. And if you use my link down below, not only will you get that discount, you'll also get a welcome bonus. I believe they're still doing that. Plus it also, you know, gets me some cash back just for referring you. But yeah, I would really appreciate if you used my link, and I promise you, you will not regret it. It does not cost you a penny. I have never given them a penny, but they have given me so many pennies back, and by pennies I mean dollars, and by dollars I mean a lot of them. So I can't recommend Rakuten enough. It's gonna take me a long time to get used to that. But in any case, all that aside, basically e.l.f. says that this is going to be a full coverage long wear concealer, 16 hours to be exact. It is crease resistant, so not only is it good for blemishes but also for under the eyes. They call it a creamy dreamy formula, which is exactly what I like in my concealers. They say you can blend it out with your finger or a sponge. Great, I will try both methods here. We will be testing this across multiple days. Like I said, I am so excited to crack on into this. Test it out on my face. Oh, I love using it. Oh, it's been a long time. I mean, yes, I have rebranded this to be a weekly wear or whatever, but this is absolutely a YouTube made me buy it. So for those of you that want to join along, let's go ahead. It's been a very long time. Sing the song together, and then we can go ahead and hop on into natural daylight and start testing this out. YouTube made me buy it, and now I'm gonna try it. Yeah. Oh, it's been so long. I'm so excited. Right, so again, I'm really hoping that I'm in frame and everything. Like I said, I'm figuring it out. I'm gonna say sorry a million times. I'm gonna stutter because I just want to make things right for you guys. Anyways, the first way that I like to test out a new product is just to use it in my normal routine, the way that I know products usually work for me. So I've already washed and moisturized and hydrated and used a hydrating primer on my face. I'm still getting over a sickness, so that's why my nose is quite dry at the moment, like more dry than usual. I know a lot of people say it's just because I don't moisturize my skin enough. Nay, trust me, this is not the case. I just have had a cold and it's not been pleasant. So all of that has been done. My skin has been prepped. Now, what I typically like to do, I like to use a color correcting concealer just very minimally underneath my eyes in the inner corners. As you can see, I don't think I need to explain this, but my skin is a mess right now. I don't know what's going on, you guys. I think a lot of it is just stress, but I do like to put down a little bit of color corrector right in the inner corners just to really help out with my dark under eye bags, because like I said, sleep has not been thing that has been extremely present in my life as of late. And then we'll go in with this concealer, which now that I'm in daylight, this actually looks really quite light, but we're gonna make it work. I would much rather have my concealer be too light than too dark, so for me, I guess I'm just okay with this. I am going to put a couple little dots here. I mean, this wasn't the fairest shade available, was it? It's fair with a neutral undertone. I think I went with this one because all of the light shades didn't have neutral undertones to them, so I take responsibility. This is white. So hey, if you have really fair skin, get excited, because this isn't even the lightest of all the shades, and my god, that is like clown white on me. So, my fault entirely, but don't worry, we can make this work. This is one of the reasons why I put concealer on underneath my foundation, is so that it can get color corrected by putting foundation on top. So I'm just tapping this in. It looks like it is blending really nicely, all things considered. Obviously not my shade, but it's still blending really nicely into the skin. It's just tapping in nice and loverly. Now you can put it on all of these lovely little blemishes, and by little I mean army. Don't even know where to start. So far this concealer, it's like I said, it's creamy to blend out. It's not tacky, but it feels like it's got a stick. It really feels like it's gonna stick to my skin, so that is very exciting here. We might have to negate underneath this eye because that tear duct is just not working properly for me today. Partially from the cold, partially just because I have wonky tear ducts. Some people have a problem child. I have a problem tear duct. Takes all kinds, folks. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use my foundation that I am using at the moment. Get my face not looking as ridiculous in terms of the color of product that I have decided to smear all over. So that concealer is way more potent than I gave it credit for. We are going pale face ghost mode today. I am going to try real hard, and I'm gonna stop at some Targets and stuff and see if I can find this in a much better shade for me. If not, I mean, we can work with it. Well, I'll work with it with being a very too pale for my own skin princess. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of my makeup on. Hope I can make this look a little bit better. I'll show you some close-ups here just so you can see. I think, you know, things in general, aside from the pore shade match on my part, pores are looking smooth. It doesn't look horrible on dry spots on my face. It definitely gave coverage. The foundation I'm using is not super full coverage. It's not sheer coverage either, but you know what I mean? The color was clearly influenced by the concealer beneath it. So there is how things are looking like right now. And then, like I said, I'm gonna get on with my life. I'll check in with you all at the very end of the night. Drat. They have, let's see, fair warm. These look identical to the ones that I have, honestly. All right, hello my friends. We have some developments here. I mean, first off, in terms of the shade, since you guys just saw that little tiny snippet of me at Target, I picked up the 4 shades that they had left at Target, and comparing with this one here. Now, there are subtle differences here, especially with the 4 over that way. And I did notice this looking at swatches online and stuff and looking at the concealers compared to each other online. Especially these 3, Fair Beige, the Fair Warm, and then the Light Peach. There is barely any difference in these colors. Barely. So I didn't know, especially, you know, in Target, in their aisles, they've got all those bright white lights. You can't really tell what your color is gonna be, so I just grabbed all of them. I figured this one, the Tan Walnut, is probably gonna be too deep, but I wasn't sure, like I said, so I figured I would just pick it up. In any case, we'll look at all those tomorrow when I try this concealer out again, but in terms of the concealer, here's my face. I'm sure you can see things, but if not, I will show you the close-ups and the side-by-sides. Nothing too crazy today, you know, I was just working here, and then I went out and I ran errands, and then I hung out with my mom tonight, so I wasn't really feeling oily or anything just until I came and pulled up and got here in my apartment. It looked like things were hanging on. Certainly the concealer looked a little bit cakey, especially in the places where I really caked it on, so I really didn't fault the concealer for that. I figured that was more due to my application and then the horrendously light shade that I was using. And then I went to blot my face, and pretty much the places where the concealer was on my blotting sheet, that's where the concealer showed up. The foundation didn't really transfer. It really was specifically in those spots where concealer had been placed. This concealer definitely transferred onto the blotting sheet with my oils. It did leave things looking kind of patchy here on my face in contrast with the foundation, but like I said, as of right now, I really am going to contribute that cakiness and patchiness to my application problems. Application in terms of I probably put on too much and made it look cakey, and then application problems in terms of wrong shade by far. But that being said, the concealer did stick around. I am not giving up hope on this concealer yet. We are going to be testing it out more, hopefully testing out my correct shade more, and hopefully just seeing if we can get it right. See if a different primer, different application technique, all of that will make it better. So I will see you all tomorrow, aka in just a second here. Ready? Ding! All right, my friends. Oh, what a roller coaster we have ridden here on this journey of concealer reviewing. At least it has been for me. I have been through some things and I have come to multiple conclusions, all of which I would love to share with you all. So yesterday, day 2 of testing, let's talk about it. I went ahead and just did the normal washing and moisturizing of the face, but used no primer and no foundation this time. I just wanted to see how the concealer performed. I also went ahead and used the medium shade that I purchased, thinking that that was going to be the right shade, and then that ended up being too dark for me. But you know, I went with it anyway, so I didn't really have much of a choice at that point. I also went ahead and tested out blending the concealer with a little beauty blender mini to see how that worked. Unfortunately, I thought it was horrible. For whatever reason, this concealer, at least what I've found, it did not react well with water things. Water things being, you know, a damp beauty blender. It caused it to cake up and gather, and just it created a really awful texture that had a really hard time sticking to the skin. Like it would just kind of come off. So I just went ahead and used my fingers to blend the rest of this. I did also find that the concealer dries pretty quickly, so you do have to work in tinier sections of your face than I personally enjoy. It's just a quick drying concealer. As usual, I did get oily, and unfortunately at that point, the concealer wipes completely off with oils. Plus it looks really cakey and just bad on dry spots. I used much less concealer this time around to see, you know, clearly my healing bits on my face, at least at that point, and I mean still today. Yeah, they're very dry spots and like it would be very hard to make them look good, but this concealer especially, it just clung and caked to dry spots, so that was unfortunate. Now today what we're working with, I used a different shade, yay! And it's the right shade for me, at least I think so. This one is Light Peach. Third time's a charm, right? I wanted to make this work, darn it. So I went ahead and used my holy grail face products, my Guerlain primer, went ahead and laid that down. Then I went ahead and put on the concealer, this time just, you know, blending with my fingers like usual. Worked a treat, seemed to do quite well that way now that I've kind of learned how to use it and apply it and what works best. And then I put on my favorite Estee Lauder foundation on top of that, locked and loaded, all good and dandy. And you guys, good and dandy indeed, at least I would say so. I've had my makeup on for many, many hours now. I have not blotted, and that's the darn feat, I would say. It was a busy day. I was working today, and then I went and thrifted, and also got drinks with a good friend, and came home and got more work done and stuff. Like, I've been out and about and doing things, haven't blotted once. I feel like, you know, my face is so secure, but like I said, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I did use my Holy Grail primer and foundation along with this concealer. That being said, the concealer's hanging in. I've had to blow my nose multiple times, you know, I am still trying to kick this bug, darn it. And then, you know, just the random face touching, changing out of clothes and everything, and I do not seem to have any kind of transfer going on, which is great. Yeah, my dry spots are looking a little dry at this point for sure, but I can't imagine they could look much better with makeup on top of them. And overall, I mean, I'm happy. The concealer did crease underneath my eyes, so their claims of creaselessness, depends on the person, I suppose. But yeah, here we are getting on into the pros and cons. Let's go through them together. First and foremost, it's affordable. That's for darn sure. $5 at the drugstore. I don't think you can get too much better than that. Also, it is very full coverage, especially for the price, and it is buildable, and it can be long wearing. It's dependent, which unfortunately I think brings us to the cons here. First off, the shade range is just terrible, atrocious if you will. Plus, in my experience, this concealer dries down about 2 shades darker than it appears in the tube / you know, when it's wet still. But that's really unfortunate. It makes it really hard to pick out what your shade is going to be. Along with the dry down, I find this a con in that it dries very quickly, so you have to work quickly or just in smaller quadrants. It's not the end of the world, but it is, to me anyways, annoying. It also can look really cakey really quick if you end up putting too much of it on. It clings to dry patches. I would say if you have really dry skin or really flaky dry skin, this is not going to be something that you're going to want to invest in. After I just said how affordable it is, but you know, you get what I'm saying. And also, if you are on the other side of the skin spectrum, in that instead of being really dry, you are very oily like I am, this does not work well with oils, this concealer. However, that can be worked around. Like I said, if you have a Holy Grail primer and foundation situation, as we can see on my face today, it can work. But the fact that it is so finicky, it's annoying. So yeah, I feel bad. I feel like this is kind of it's not a wishy-washy review, but it's kind of a finicky one. Just like this concealer. I personally don't know that I would say this is worth the hype completely that it gets here on YouTube. Still a good concealer if you can find your shade match and everything, but the fact that it is so hard to figure out your freaking shade match, I mean, hey, maybe I'm alone here, but like just with the dry down shade changing, not good shade rangeness of it, and then with how finicky it is, not working with certain primers and certain foundations and certain skin types and just da-da-da-da-da. If you can get this to work, I think it's a great concealer for the price. However, you have to be willing to work with it unless you're one of the lucky ones and you just get it to work right away, right off the bat, in which case, jealous. But in any case, I just hope, as always, seeing this concealer in action on my skin over these multiple days was helpful for you in deciding whether or not you're going to want to check out this concealer for yourself. Let me know in the comments down below if you have tried out this concealer. How do you feel about it? Were you able to find your correct shade easily, or did you have a difficult time like I did? Did the concealer work for you? Did it not? Do you want to try out the concealer? Do you not? Etc, etc. What concealer is your favorite? Let me know all of these things down below. You can also let me know if you enjoyed this video by giving me a thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate it. And if you are new here, hey, hi, hello, how are you? You can go ahead and subscribe. You can dippity tap that notification bell down below. Become a member of my casserole family here on my channel. I'd love to have you here. And as always, I just hope you guys are all doing well. And until next time, just stay well until then. Bye!